Hello viewers, figured I'd try something new and do a tutorial video. Just recently picked up this 1995 Jeep Grand Cherokee. It's got some problems, but I'm fixing it up. So today I'm going to do a catback exhaust, and I've picked up some parts. First, I got a Walker brand axle over section. I picked this up for 35 bucks on Amazon. The part number is 45404. It's for a V8. And this particular one's a straight 6, but I found that the one for the V8 was a little bit bigger diameter pipe, 2 1/4 instead of 2 inch. So I went with this one. Should fit the same, hopefully. So yeah, it's pretty decent quality, but it's a little thin, I think, and it's got a pretty good size little dent in it right here where they must squash it down with their machine when they're making the bends. But for 35 bucks, it's hard to complain. Next, I got the FX muffler. It's the straight through design. It's got glass pack in it, and it was only like, I think, 35 bucks as well. It's center in, offset out, 2 1/4 inch, and couldn't find much about people putting these on their straight 6 Jeeps, but I did find one video and it sounded pretty cool, so I figured I'd try it out. We use a lot of the Thrush single and double chamber mufflers and stuff like that, but I've never tried one of these before, so apparently they're supposed to flow really good as well. Not that that matters too much, but it's worth a shot. And the only other part I got is since I'm going from the downpipe all the way back, because when I got this Jeep it had no exhaust on it, I sourced a 6-foot length of 2 1/4 pipe from a local muffler shop. And that was cheap too. That was like 23 bucks, and it's good thick quality pipe, so should be good for with holding up to off-roading and stuff, which is what I plan to do with this. So let's get started. So I think the first thing we're gonna have to do is there's a track bar up here, right there, and the exhaust needs to go over top of that, so I'm going to have to take the mount off down there and swing it down out of the way. Might have to have the wheels on the ground with the springs compressed for that to line up straight again to put it back in. But I think for now we should be able to just take it off and get that out of the way, and then make it a lot easier. Alright, we're looking inside the passenger side rear wheel well, and that's what I'm trying to take off to swing that track bar out of the way. It's a Torx bit on one end and then just a normal nut on the other, so it's kind of tight. You're right next to the gas tank. That right there is a shield to the gas tank, so I might have to use just a normal wrench and stuff. I don't think my impact gun will fit up in there. Okay, I got that track bar off, nice and loose. I would recommend that you take that off when the car's on the ground, because when the suspension's depressed or unloaded, when it's unloaded, it has a lot of tension on it, so you might want to take that off before you jack it up. Alright, I got the tailpipe temporarily zip tied to where the exhaust hanger mount is supposed to go, and it all looks like it's fit pretty good. So I wish I had another jack stand, but I gotta figure out a way to prop that end up about where it needs to be, and then I can start fitting more pipes. Alright, so I believe this is some kind of a oddball size. You can see where the downpipe comes out between the cross member and the floor, and then it expands out a little bit right here. I tried fitting my piece of pipe to it, but it seemed to be, I wouldn't really want to go over it, but the muffler did, but it was a little on the loose side. So I think it's some weird oddball size there. So I think what I'm just going to do is get a 2 1/4 inside diameter sleeve and weld it on here, and then my pipe can slide inside of that as well, and then either clamp or weld that on too. And then I'll run back to a muffler, and then the muffler then will go on to that axle over part, and then it'll be done. So I got my red mark here. So I only need about this long a pipe. Just make sure when you measure where you're cutting, you take into consideration how far this pipe's going to slide into the muffler, which is about like 3 inches in my case. So I make sure I have that much on there to get it where it needs to go, plus slide into a muffler sleeve or something like that. Alright, now that the pipe's cut, I got everything fitted up under here just how I want it. So I'm probably going to weld right here. I think this is old, probably like a factory weld where whatever was on there went. But there's enough protruding to about here where I got it in there about that far. So I'm probably just going to weld that up. I just put a clamp on this one for now. Probably weld that one up there because that looks like I could get to the top of it pretty easily with the welder. A lot of times I like to weld stuff together while it's on the ground because I can get a pretty nice looking weld that way, but in this case I got everything exactly where I think it should be, so I think I'm just gonna weld it all up underneath the car, and then it'll be on here. And then I'll probably, back here, I'll probably just put another clamp on the back of the muffler where it sleeves up there, in case I need to like kind of tweak or twist something a little bit, because I'm a little concerned about this part that goes over the axle hitting stuff once I get it on the ground. And I'm not exactly sure where it's going to want to be until I get that factory style mount for the back, because right now I just got a zip tie holding it up back there. So yeah, I'm gonna get the I guess I'll get the welder out and a wire brush and clean up that area right there, and then just booger weld that on there because that pipe's pretty rusty. So I can't imagine it's going to be pretty when I'm done, and hopefully it won't leak too bad. But what I always like to do is, I found after doing quite a few exhaust jobs, when I go to weld this stuff together on the car, I always have a hard time getting the very top, and if it's going to leak, it's always going to leak up here. So right now I kind of have that jack kind of cocking this whole thing up a little, so the bigger gap's at the bottom. Therefore, if I don't get it welded really good up here, since it's already kind of smushed together, and the bigger gaps on the bottom, hopefully it won't leak too bad. Being one of my cars though, it's probably going to leak a little bit. Finished product. I got some booger welds on there, and a clamp, some more booger welds, and then a clamp at the back of the muffler. All seems to be hung up in there pretty well, being that the whole thing's held up by a zip tie right now because I don't have the hanger in the back, but I got it, the muffler fairly centered between the drive shaft and the unit body frame rail there. I already started it up and checked for leaks, and of course it's leaking at the very top of where the downpipe is. But you know, what can you do? This whole project didn't take very long. I mean, if you weren't filming it, you could probably do it in like a couple hours. So, you know, it probably took me like 3 or 4 because I kept having to retake footage, trying not to sound stupid, which is not exactly easy for me. But I'm gonna fire this thing up. I got all the doors open, so you can see what this FlowFX by Flowmaster sounds like. I'll set the camera up in the back towards the where the exhaust comes out, and yeah, enjoy that. Thanks for watching my video. Hopefully it was useful to you in some way, and I'll see you next time.